estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host and business partner, Joey Sampaga. He is the man with the plan. Hey, what's going on over there?
What's going on?
Yeah, we're, doing podcasts all day.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of them.
We had.
It's fun.
But we have a super special guest right now.
Yes, absolutely we do.
In the house.
Yeah. And that's Dennis Rosvall, broker owner of Remax Prime, which is newly launched, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Prime, I like that.
Yes.
Totally like that. So where's the location?
We are in Paradise Valley. We're the only Remax office in Paradise Valley. In fact, only one of very few offices in general up there. And we're right off of Tatum and Shea.
All right. Sweet. Well, why don't we start? So agents, this is mostly for agents out there, mostly here in the Valley. Why don't you start by introducing yourself as far as how long you've been in the business and what kind of got you into real estate?
Sure. Well, and Jeff and Joey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Allie's been trying to get me on the show for quite a while.
Yeah,
so
Lisa,
I'm glad I finally...
she doesn't. She's persistent.
She's fantastic.
She's awesome.
So anyway, I've been in the Valley for 23 years. Came down here from Portland, Oregon, real estate license in hand. I was one of the maybe unique agents in that, moving here, I recognized that Arizona was a very migratory city. Wanted to go with a big brand. So at the time, I interviewed with Century 21 that had quite a big presence at the time back then. This was in 94, 95. Also interviewed with Remax, and it didn't take me long to realize that it seemed like when all the agents got really good at Century 21, they left and went to Remax.
Got it. Okay.
And so I thought, well, if I'm going to learn this business, I want to learn from the people that are out there killing it, not the ones that are getting killed. So, and
that's a good frame of mind. I like that.
Right. And believe me, I have a lot of friends with all the brands, and I don't want to, disparage anybody. But I like the quality that Remax offered at the time. So, joined as a brand new agent, brand new to the city, knew nobody. Had to build it from scratch, and here I'm still standing 23 years later. So something went right. We've all been through the cycles of the market. So I was with a company, became Remax Achievers. I was one of the original 7 agents. That company was built up to about 680 agents, I believe, with 13 offices between their commercial and residential sides. Unfortunately, they were a victim of the recession. Collapsed. I had pulled the ripcord about a year earlier in 2009 and started my own company called Urban House Realty. Built that up over the last 8 years. Recognized, again, that there's only so much of a market that a boutique company can have without the major brand behind it. I mean, there are success stories, there are boutiques that make it, but I didn't want to be part of a company that was just one of many. I wanted to be part of something that could be special, that would attract the top agents, that we could really run, work, and play the way we want to do as professionals in this community. That led me back to the decision to, hey, if I'm going to rebrand my business and go back to a major firm, who do I go with? I knew Remax. I believe in their system, and so bought the franchise, and here we are a month later. We've opened up, and we're getting off the ground.
There we go. Well, everybody knows the hot air balloon.
Absolutely, one of the most recognizable logos in the world.
Yeah. So do you still have some contacts back in Portland?
I do. Okay. I still have some family up there, and a lot of friends. So
yeah. The market up there is going crazy, huh?
They are one of the stronger markets, definitely. Them, Colorado, Seattle, a lot of the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I think Arizona is always primed for a continuous growth, because it's getting too expensive in many of these other Pacific Coast cities, and people are being forced to come to Arizona, where it's cost of living is so much less.
Yeah, out of California right now for sure. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you've got a strategy there to try to help relocation from California, but it looks like we're one of the states that they're going to, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So being a broker of the real estate professionals, that land at Remax, what are you seeing that some of the agents are doing right now to be successful in today's market?
We're all fighting the same problems with inventory. Is very, very low. We got a lot of buyers, can't find the houses for them. Everybody is fighting for the same listings. It's really, I think, about positioning yourself properly, being very well connected on the social media, on searchability on Google and whatever else. People who are traditional farms, I think, are doing quite well. Work in your personal sphere. I've always been a sphere of influence sort of a guy. I kind of came out of the Joe Stump, Brian Buffini school of thought. I've been practicing that now for 22, 23 years. So I teach my agents how to build those sphere, how to go very deep with your relationships. If you're going to spend money, spend it on your the people you know. You're going to
people already know you, right?
Yeah, you're going to get more referrals than you're ever going to get. Putting an ad in Homes and Land or something.
Sure.
So you're going to the basics. Going back to the basics.
Well, it's part of it. It's going to the basics. When you say it's about the relationships. It's about building relationships. I mean, if you want to make a sale, I don't care what industry you're in. If you're in sales, it's getting that's the old cliche, belly to belly, wallet to wallet with people.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to sell over the phone. You really want to get in front of people, and that's what we really work at doing.
That's interesting because Joey and I went to the Social Media Marketing World event in San Diego a couple months ago, or a month ago, or however long it's been now. Anyway, we were pleasantly surprised that getting back to building the relationships outside of your social was
the
really
main
the
focus.
Key. Yeah, it was like the overall theme of the event being a social media event, and they were talking about how it's no longer really about how many likes do I get, how many followers do I get. It's more, what are the quality of the followers that I get, and how do I make sure I stay in front of the people that already know, like, and trust me. So it was nice. I mean, it was a good event, but it goes right back to your point that doing the Buffini stuff, right, and the Joe Stump, I mean, that is all about your A's, right?
Got your A's, your B's, and your C's.
So it's those people that are already influenced by you, right? Correct. That you continually stay in front of. So yeah, I like that a lot. I think
and back to your social media thing. People do take the social out of social media, and that's the most important part. Mm-hmm. It's I think for our industry, Facebook was the greatest invention. Not that we want to go in and like somebody's photo of their cat, but it's really a way to peer into somebody's life and see what's important to them and what they're doing. So I teach my agents, when little Sally is out selling her Girl Scout cookies, go buy them. Mm-hmm. When little Johnny's selling wrapping paper for a fundraiser, go buy it. Invest in those families. They're going to remember that you've connected with them, and you've discovered that through something they've posted on Facebook or elsewhere. You always know when their birthdays are coming up. Mail them a card, or God forbid, go visit them, or something different. Because I've been tracking this the last few years. I might get 250, 300 happy birthday messages on Facebook. I'll receive 2 cards in the mail. One of them's from my mom. So it's and the other one might be a corporate card. People have forgotten how to do that.
The handwritten note stuff, right?
Exactly. So if you just do something just a little bit extra, and if you can get in front of somebody, do a pop by, that means the world, and they're going to remember you when they do have a need for real estate themselves, or have a friend who is looking for to make a move. They're going to remember to refer you that way.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a certain number of times you should be reaching out? I mean, I know a lot of different places teach different things, but I don't know if you have a certain kind of flow to how you want your agents to keep in contact with their.
There are a lot of different ways to do it, and if it's your actual sphere, people who already know you, you want to have some kind of a connection, at least monthly. A personal contact at least quarterly. If you can do that consistently, you'll do just fine. If you're having them on a drip campaign that they're just getting your general stuff that you're sending to everybody, then that's an element of that. But you've got to take it above that. There's top of mind, and then there's building the relationship, and there's those two kind of interconnected things, but they are different.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you think that strategy of working your database, do you think that also agents should really focus or dial in a specific niche, or do you think that mainly working the database or the older school way of just keeping in front of people, or do you really think that there's a value to really defining your niche?
I think if you can define a niche, if you can be the big fish in a small pond, you're going to obviously be better in the long run than a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
So the little story about myself is I lived in the Arcadia area since I moved here in 1994. Raised 2 kids, went through the school system, had Little League coach, Boy Scout den leader. My wife was Girl Scout leader. All those activities that the kids, and kids are the greatest marketing tool ever made, by the way. They all the introductions you get out of them. But through the 20 years that I lived in Arcadia, I never farmed around my own neighborhood. The old acres of diamonds theory that I just completely ignored because I bought into the whole, kind of the birth of the internet in our industry. When it was first rolling out, when Realtor.com first came out, I was big in there. I was working with Yahoo back before Google ever existed. Those buyers that were coming in from elsewhere in the country, they didn't know where they wanted to live, and I was, putting 22,000 miles a year on my car, driving, to Gilbert in the morning and Surprise in the afternoon. And so my sphere of influence was stretched very, very thin geographically across the city. I wish I would have put more effort into farming right around my own neighborhood as another pillar of my business, not giving up what I did, but really focus more on that as well. I see agents who do that today and become known for one particular market niche.
Yeah.
If they get kind of a notoriety and a fame to them, well, now that helps them grow their business even outside of that niche. It helps them build team members that can then take their business outside of their main focus that they're known for. So yeah, to answer your question, I think you do have to focus on a base, make it better than anybody else, and then from there, your business will just, people will gravitate to you.
Yeah, no, I like that. Farming, Joey. Farming your area.
Geographic area.
Geographic. No, we like that a lot. How about any tips you would give agents if they, whether it's agents at your office or agents that are listening or watching, if they're saying that business has slowed a bit, right? Especially because of inventory and things like that. So business has slowed. What should I do now? What should I go do to make sure that I'm getting some business? Of course, that's the $1 million question. A lot of it's just
I want a $1 million answer.
Yeah. No. A lot of it's persistence. I mean, there's still plenty of transactions being done. It's just a matter of going out and grabbing them. Everybody's going to have ebbs and flows in their particular pillars. The more pillars you have, the more you're going to be able to make. If let's say you're focusing heavily on your sphere of influence, and suddenly nobody is wanting to move or relocate, well, maybe sell them an investment property. Maybe look at helping them find an Airbnb that they can rent out and make some money on. There's still a lot of business opportunities that are ancillary to somebody, buying and selling a owner-occupied property.
Yeah.
So I would focus on people going deep, finding out, what sort of, financial wherewithal their database has. Do they have the money to invest?
Right.
Into a second property.
Okay. All right. So with the new office and everything now, right, the new brokerage, are you in like a growth mode then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We spent we opened up on March 1st. Spent the first few weeks just getting the office put together. I think it looks fantastic. It's a very cafe style office. I lived through the bleak times in our industry when these brokerages were sitting on 30,000 square feet of brick and mortar, and nobody was walking in the door. They were ghost towns.
Yeah.
Led to many bankruptcies and worse. I knew I never wanted to have a brokerage that was going to be in that position. So we have a very nice office. It's a small footprint. It's like 2,300 square feet, right off the main lobby of a larger office building. So we got a lot of foot traffic coming by, a lot of great parking, a lot of great visibility from Shea Boulevard. We wanted to set it up as a living room where our agents who are working out of their homes can come in, have some collaboration, some camaraderie, feel good about what they're doing, get the coaching there or the guidance that they need from myself,
sure.
Or from talking with our other agents. That's how we set it up. Nice training room. We have a couple private offices that are available for teams if they want to come over. So, but we've got those elements in place. So now it is about recruiting. It's about showing our value of what we have to offer.
Yeah.
I think we have for a premier brand, we've got, I believe, one of the best packages out there for and some flexibility on depending on how an agent wants to pay their bill.
Sure.
That we make it easy for them, and we try to put a lot of support and extra tools even above and beyond the brand into what we're offering.
Right. Well, and it totally makes sense not to have a big space, right? A big office space necessarily, because we can pretty much do everything now from a mobile device, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't really need to come sit in an office all day long. So I like that concept a lot. And even, gosh, I don't know how long ago it was now. I believe the company that owns WordPress, I think is what it was, which I think is out in San Francisco or something like that. They realized too that nobody was coming to the office to work. So last I know that they were actually closing down their big corporate office, I guess you could say, for WordPress because nobody was ever there. Everybody works remotely. So it totally makes sense not to have that big bill over your head, right?
When the market collapsed back at the end of 2007 going into 2008, and it fell fast if you were here when you saw that happen. Couple things dynamics were happening at the same time beyond the recession. Technology was really starting to come into its own. The iPhones, the iPads were just coming onto the scene at the time. It seems like they've been around forever, but really, that was only 10 years ago.
Sure.
The advent of the discount brokerages, HomeSmart was just coming onto the scene. West USA was around DPR. John Hall was being bought out by Realty One Group, all within a small number of years there. It made it very, very easy for agents to say, why am I paying these big bills? I'm going to go work out of my house, have a very small office bill, cut my marketing to a minimum, and just survive through the recession. No one knew how long the recession was going to last. I was one of them. Remember the term, it's going to be a soft landing, or there's no bubble, how wrong we all were. But
there are a lot of people that were wrong.
Yeah, but here we are, we're all still standing. So we all made it. What I noticed back then, this was about 2012, myself, a lot of our friends, we were missing something, not only in our business, but in our life. Because realtors are very social people. That's why we're in the business in the first place.
They should be.
Yeah, we should be. But when we feel that disconnect, when I was with RE/MAX, we were this great big family. I mean, there was, for 10 years, I ran a RE/MAX tour in the Northeast Valley. Every Tuesday we would have 40 to 50 agents every single Tuesday on this tour, and we would rotate around the northeast part of the valley. Everybody was just, it was fun. You got to talk shop, you got to talk life, you got everything. That all went away, and so what I noticed is the agents were getting really, really lonely. They would meet their clients at a Starbucks. If they were a buyer, they'd meet them at their house. They'd never go in the office, so they would never see and so I thought, how can I correct this? And so I started looking at doing a RE/MAX concept back then, a little more of a coffee house kind of style. Mm-hmm. At the time, I think I was one of the very first who had thought about that, but I didn't have the resources because I was the bottom of the market to open up the vision that I had.
Right.
When I opened Urban House Realty, it was kind of based on the concept that, hey, it could be the Urban House Cafe along with, the Urban House Realty would be the major tenant of it. We had this vision. Some other companies have adopted that now over the last several years, at least a part of that concept. But it came down to where I felt still as a boutique company, we're never going to get a major market share. So I did need to take it back to the brand. So we came back to RE/MAX. We try now incorporate at least some of those ideas in that we want to make it inviting for our agents, no matter where they're living and working. That's a comfortable, attractive space. They can come in, bring their clients. If they have to stop in, have all obviously the technology available to them. but maybe it's just a place to socialize. People need a little bit of that in their life. We're trying to plan a lot of events, as family type events.
Yeah.
Not only for the age, but for their actual families. Bring your spouse, bring your kids, bring your whoever, and we're going to try to build the office as a culture that's about living, working, and playing, not just
right.
out there trying to make a buck.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's funny. I you bring up the whole being lonely and all that, and when I say it's funny, it's not funny that people are lonely, but it was funny, the article that I just read. I think it was actually this morning or yesterday, and it was about a lady who started a company that's, believe it or not, it's to just cuddle. Have you seen that?
No.
It's because people are lonely.
Really?
Yes, she started this business, and it's because people are actually lonely.
Your birthday's coming up. I'm going to give you a gift card for...
No, I don't need a cuddle. I have my wife is great. So
okay.
But I just thought that was interesting that there's enough demand there of people, that are
need cuddling.
Well,
anyway, sorry, I know that was totally random, but
it brings a point. I have a very supportive wife. We've been together 30 years, and she's 100% behind what we're doing, but she doesn't get what we do in real estate. And just like I don't, she works for Make-A-Wish, and she can tell me stories, and my eyes will start to glaze over after a little bit of time. I hope she's not watching. I love you, honey.
You want us to cut this part? No.
No, but it's like, unless you're in the middle of it, you don't quite get it. You don't understand the nuances of contract language.
Sure.
So that's where it's so important to be able to collaborate with your colleagues who are experiencing the same thing every day. And when you can get together and you can talk shop and blow off some steam and solve issues that you can only do from shared experience, that you'll never be able to have a spouse understand what it is that you're going through.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Before
we get to the next segment, any other things you want to make agents aware of RE/MAX Prime?
I just wanted to bring up, we are having our grand opening that everybody is certainly invited to come attend. It's going to be on April 19th, this Thursday evening, 5 to 7 p.m. Elisa and Security Title are kind of title sponsors to it, along with a few other great sponsors that we have behind us. So would love to have everybody come on out.
All right.
Awesome.
There we go.
April 19th.
All right. We'll make sure to get this out there, Joey.
Yes.
All right. So are you ready to get in the ring?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. What's
the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
The best advice anybody has given me? Never give up. If you have a dream, work for the dream. You'll figure it out. If you just quit, I can't help you. You gotta just have that persistence.
Yeah, absolutely. How about a favorite mobile app?
I'm a Facebook guy. I'm on that all day, every day. So that's
it's a good one.
Yeah. Well, it makes your connections, and it allows you to definitely keep in contact with some of your best. I'm assuming that some of your clients are probably also friends.
Yeah, I work really hard to get all of my friends on there. I'm not friends, but my clients, and most of them are on the platform, so it's easy.
Yeah. All right. How about a book recommendation?
I just got done reading Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight story. Superbly written. How he built Nike. And it's really kind of the whole journey up to essentially where he signed Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about Michael Jordan, right?
Well,
that's really what.
Yeah, well, it was the part up to that point.
Up to that point.
Yeah, and then at the end he just kind of briefs over that part. But it was really, it was a bootstrapping company from the very beginning. All the challenges that so many of us in real estate building our companies have all had. They no different. They never thought they were going to make it. They cash flow issues. Couldn't believe they were doing it. All the naysayers saying, why are you even trying to do this? You're crazy.
Yeah.
As anybody who is an entrepreneur have all heard those stories, and Nike was no different. They were one that succeeded, and a lot of it was from the persistence that failure was not an option. They were going to.
Yeah, didn't they have like Adidas and Adidas and Converse like being the number one shoe brands, and they were like maybe in the 5th or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they started, they weren't even on the map. And and they were actually called a company called Blue Ribbon originally. And then Nike kind of was an afterthought how they kind of got into renaming the company. But it's a great read. I strongly encourage people to take a look.
All right. Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog.
All right. How about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis?
That is probably my weak point on a lot of what I do. I am so ingrained in the Apple environment ecosystem that everything I do is just very Apple interconnected.
Okay.
I wish Apple would come out with a great CRM program because that would make my life just so easy. Right now I'm actually with the new branding and stuff trying to adopt a new CRM, a new transaction coordination program. A lot of those elements. I'm kind of waiting to see what my agents like and what they're using, so we can kind of maybe I'll be on the same page. But that's where I'm at.
All right. And one final question. I'll have you draw from the mask.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Alrighty here. Do you want me to read this, or would you?
Go ahead.
Okay. It says,
my writing's bad.
"Who was your favorite singer or band in high school?"
Oh yeah.
I'm a product of the '80s.
Cyndi Lauper.
I do like that crazy little gal. I was thinking back at the time. No, I was probably a Huey Lewis in the News.
Huey Lewis, yes.
Yeah, I loved their music at the time. So them, the Cars. I evolved more into a Tom Petty kind of guy and a Jimmy Buffett. But back in the day, they were the ones.
Yeah,
Huey Lewis, the Cars. Awesome. Yeah, I remember that video on MTV.
Yes, MTV.
That doesn't show music anymore.
Yeah, I know. Back when they actually played music.
It makes me every time I hear Huey Lewis, it makes me want to watch Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Well, thank you so much for being on. If somebody wants to reach out to you directly, how would they do so, if any agents?
Cell phone is 480-232-0948, always available. Dennis Rosvall at remax.net is my email.
All right.
Awesome.
And the event, April 19th? Again,
April 19th, 5 to 7.
Thursday evening. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. And I'm sure you've got some great things ahead of you with the new office, Remax Prime.
Cool. Yes.
We're excited.
We'll have to thank Elisa for bringing you on again. And until next time, this is Jeff Underwood and
Joey Sampaga.
Real Estate Marketing Maniacs. We'll see you later.
Adios.
All right. Good job.
Gentlemen.